Day 80 of 281. Hello, my name is Joey. I am currently a senior in high school. I have 281 days before I graduate. I'll be posting every single day on all platforms to follow my dream of content creation, inspiring people to be better, and most importantly, changing lives. It's 9:20 p.m. on a Saturday night. I just finished up a 6-hour shift at work today, and I'm heading home to go ahead and end off the night. I have been growing so much in faith recently, and it's the greatest gift and the greatest privilege of all time. My relationship with God has been just growing substantially over the weeks, months, and years. From where I used to be 1 year ago is dramatically different to where I am today, to how I handle situations, to now how I act as a man in this world. I'm still going through so many trials, and most importantly, I am still learning so much. But if there's one thing that God is teaching me, He's teaching me to depend on Him. To depend on Him to do things. To depend on Him to act certain ways. To depend on Him and how I can handle certain situations. If we go to the Bible, one of my favorite characters as I'm currently reading is David. Because David was a young boy who was elected to become a leader, and he was one of the few in his family who had no qualifications to be a leader. He was the smallest, he was the youngest, he was the tiniest, and yet he became a king. And I'm saying this in a humble way. I'm not saying this to brag or sound arrogant, but I feel like God has made me on this planet for a special reason in order to be something in this world, to be a leader, to inspire. And I feel as if I am David. I feel like I am the tiniest, the smallest, and the youngest in my family tree, and I'm getting brought up to become a king. And God has been putting me through so many tests and trials in this world, to, how I handle patience, to how I handle obstacles, and they're all developing me as a character, as a person. And I really do believe this in the bottom of my heart. The trials and tribulations that I go through today is going to prepare me for what I'm going to go through later in life and make sure I'm qualified. Every single day, I ask God to provide me strength, to provide me courage, confidence, perseverance. And in order to gain strength, confidence, and all of those character traits, you're going to be put in those situations. So if you ask for strength, then God's going to put it in your heart to go to the gym. If you ask to be confident, then God's going to put you in a situation where you're going to have to be confident. These are the things that God puts you through to become a better person. I understand that in the morning when I pray to God, I want strength. I know that God is going to give me a situation in that day where I'm going to have to use my strength. And there are so many times and everything in just accumulating to be where I am. And one of my favorite stories from David's life was facing Goliath. And so David, being the youngest, tiniest, decided to say, you know what? I'm going to face Goliath today. I'm going to face Goliath and I'm going to kill him. Because what shall a man fear when the Lord his God is with him? And that is the beautifulest sentence I've ever heard in my life. What shall a man fear when the Lord his God is with him? I'm going to say it one more time. What shall a man fear when the Lord his God is with him? David, being the tiniest soldier out of that whole army, decided to face a giant that was 5 times the size, with sword and armor. And David all went in with a rock and a slingshot, depending all of his strength, all of his everything, his whole life on God. And David killed him with one shot. That, my friends, is faith. For how you're put in situations and handle them determines where you're going to be tomorrow. Because if David was afraid to face Goliath, how would he face the whole world? I really do respect David's story, and there are so many other great verses and lines of, when he was isolated, when he was brought up and then teared down, and how he got back up. There's just something about that I can relate to, and it's the coolest thing of the entire world. And I just want to throw that out there, that if you guys are going through problems, if you guys are going through troubles and tribulations, put your strength, your reliability on the Lord, because he will always be there for you. If David could face Goliath with just a rock, then you can face any obstacle with God. Peace out.